Hey everybody, if you're watching this video, more than likely I've sent an email to you and I've asked you for 5 to 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to make this really quick because I know everybody's time is valuable. The reason I wrote you and asked you to watch this is I have an idea, a prospect if you will, for a project that I think could be really rewarding. Before I do this, I want to quickly lay out the psychological foundations and my reasons for doing this. Stay with me on this, I'm going to be moving quickly. Alright, so here's baby Cody. And over here, this is probably grown-up Cody, and there you go, there's his big OU sweatshirt and his little cap, okay? Here's the continuum, and I had a really great childhood. I'll be the first person to admit it. My parents exposed me to a lot of things that were really involved, they were very supportive. I had a great childhood until I was about 10 years old. And what happened here was academically, I started to suffer. I was unable to keep up with my peers, and this trend continued. There was a rallying points every now and then, maybe around like 14, 15. I found a little bit of inspiration and motivation in my parents, but for the most part I really struggled. And this really continued until I was about 17 years old. So I had a nice 7-year span where I was not academically successful. I struggled, it caused depression, lots of anxiety, lots of stress. Lots of stress for a young student trying to make it in the world, right? Okay, so what happened when I was 17 years old? Here's where the fundamental idea for the project occurred, when I realized at this point in time what had actually happened. I recently approached my old high school, and when I say my old high school, I mean a high school that I transitioned to when I was this age. It was very clear that I was not going to graduate on time because of my academic performances. I had failed a few classes, I was falling behind. So, I went to an alternative high school, and in this case, Niles Community High School, or NCHS, right? And what happened there was a fundamental paradigm shift in the way I look at education, okay? I went there, and I went from being in environments, Troy High School is very big, very overwhelming, right? 2,200 students at the time, not a lot of individualized attention, and a very rapid-paced program, right? Designed for your scholars, the ones that really just learn in a standard academic setting. Not me. But at Niles, what I found was that the pace was slower. There was more time to discuss the concepts and ideas, right? To get a richer picture of the things that I was learning, how they affect me in my life, and how they can be used in the real world. That is precisely what I want to give back to students, okay? I know I'm pretty passionate about this, so bear with me. But that's exactly what I want to do. I want to empower students through the use of science. Estus. Estus is the name of the organization I want to start. I also find this ironic because Estus happens to be an acronym, but if you take away the dots, the name Estus itself is a piece of video game lore meaning a potion of healing. Very ironic for me in the social sciences. I find that very fascinating. Okay, and that my brain produced this acronym. Anyways, long story short, what am I going to need to pull this off? What does it look like to empower students through the use of science? What does it actually mean? Well, empowering, I have a very specific definition in mind of what that means and what that looks like. If you take a moment, stop, and look around you, wherever you are, I want you to think in your own mind, you can't really tell me, think in your own mind about the things that have actually been touched by science in your local environment. So look around you, and I challenge you to find something in that environment that actually hasn't been touched by the hands of science. Even something as minute as paint, right? That has been heavily researched, and the chemical companies have got that down to a very rigid science for efficiency purposes, right? Pencils, okay, someone's got to sculpt it, someone's got to mold it, someone's got to make machines that produce it, right? Something as bland as a blade of grass, well, certain grass types have been bred, right? They've been bred for their efficiencies and their design and their ability to survive in certain environments. There's virtually nothing that I can see right now in this room that hasn't been impacted by the hand of science. So science is everywhere. It is the world around us. We are the molders of our environment, right? And if that's the case, our populace needs to be armed with the tools necessary to understand it, and the tools necessary, I believe, to make changes and to be able to allow them to impact the actual progression of science and see which directions we want to take it in, right? So I'm talking about policy levels too. At the individual level, you can understand things, but at the macro level, you can influence policy too. And those are wonderful gifts, absolutely wonderful gifts to give somebody. And that's why I want to start this foundation. So here we go. What we'll need, marketing, right? Marketing, I'm just going to put a very interesting looking M with 3 lines on there for that. Marketing, what we're going to need there is we're going to need a Facebook page, right? We're going to need a LinkedIn account. We're going to need a website. We're going to need a YouTube channel. Facebook page and LinkedIn, pretty straightforward. Website, something that we can design and evolve on our own. I want that to look very simple, very clean, something that highlights that we're just normal people. Scientists too, people that engage in scientific pursuits. Even though we focus on intellectual development, we're just normal people, just like everybody else. I want to make that very clear at the start of the foundation. Okay? So that's where I think the website will come in. YouTube, this will be kind of our primary platform for which we launch the organization. We can get people, this leads us to another resource we need. We'll go into that in a second. We can get experts to come into the YouTube channel and go ahead and give a spiel on their specific sciences and how they impact the world, right? So this is where people can be creative and have fun. If you're an animated person, jump on the screen, do whatever you want to. If you're not an animated person, use dry humor, right? However you want to do it, but this is where we can have fun with. I want everybody to be able to smile while they're making this project, okay? So that's kind of how I see the marketing happening, right? Connected to marketing, that's why I drew this wonderful line here, is we need some technical skills. We need some tech skills. Okay, so we need people that can run the websites. We need people that can run the YouTube channels, moderate the Facebook forums, moderate the LinkedIn forums. We need people that have those skills and have good capabilities in them, have already proven themselves with them. This is not my area of expertise, right? Okay, so we need the tech skills. So let me just quickly jot that down. We need people to run the web-based services, right? And again, all this can be done with cloud computing. So the startup costs are going to be very minimal. You're not going to really have to worry about that. In fact, I've already decided to kind of highlight this and push the project forward by registering it as an LLC. It costs $200. Then I can tax deductively write off almost all the expenses of this project each year. So money is not going to be an issue. It's a very, very low startup cost, and it can all be done via cloud computing, so nobody actually has to meet in person. Okay, continuing on with my networking scheme here. We've got marketing, we've got the techies, we've got the experts, right? Finally down here, we've got some more generalized HR roles. That's where I find myself probably filling in a lot of the gaps. And that's a lot of just the structural organization, trying to capture your attention and pull in the right people to place them in the specific pieces that are necessary to pull this off. Okay, so that's what I kind of see in a nutshell. And again, I didn't really develop everything too much because I didn't want to waste too much time on YouTube. But this is the basic idea. Again, empowering students through the use of science. Give people the tools necessary to influence this world. They will feel empowered, and hopefully they'll use it. If not, that's their choice. I can't control that. But that's besides the point. Just giving them the option is the real point, right? Okay, so empower the students through the use of science. How do you do it? You start with marketing campaigns. You start with a really playful introduction to science, how it can be used in the real world. You do that with experts, right? How do you get the experts? You bring them in because they have specific tools and specific skill sets. And again, you have all your techs to kind of oversee the project and get it out there. Those are the fundamental things that I see necessary to pull this off. I hope that if I have emailed you, more than likely anyways, I thought of you because you have specific skills, whether it's in here or in some off-branch of expertise, you know, some of the physical sciences, bio, chemistry, physics, math, all that kind of good stuff. So if you see places and where you think you could fit in, let me know. Very passionate about this. I want to work with you guys. I can't pull it off without you. I know that. But I do see it becoming something that could be really meaningful and rewarding for all of us. It can give you a chance to highlight your skills, right, for the career world too. So there's benefits to you too, besides philanthropy. And inevitably, again, we could turn it into a non-profit at some point to sustain a living if somebody really needed it. I don't think that'll ever be an issue for me because I'll always do like 50 projects. Long story short, I want you, I need you, I think I can pull this off. I've got a pretty clear image of how it can be done. And again, I hope that I've convinced you that it's a worthy cause. So if you're interested, shoot me an email and let me know, okay? Thank you guys, I'm going to turn it off now. Bye.